When a Hall of Famer like Eric Allen tells you a defense is about to be special, you listen. He just sat down and broke down the X's and O's of Rob Leonard's new look scheme. And trust me, what they are planning to do to opposing offenses is pure silver and black violence. Let's dive in. Welcome to Bart. Next stop, defense drive.
Which team, by colors alone, is identifiable around the world?
The autumn wind is a raider.
Which team, by slogan, commitment to excellence?
Pillaging just for fun.
Just win, baby.
He'll knock you round.
All those things
Then upside down
are the Raiders.
and laugh when he's conquered.
Just win, baby.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Black, the quarterback, and I'm back with another edition of Bart Bay Area Raiders Talk. Yeah, this is my second time today. I've been to block and I'm back now. They dropped the video. I'm loving what the Raiders are doing. They're being transparent and they're showing us what we are to expect out of our team. So they talked to the Hall of Famer Eric Allen about one of the things that everyone, or a lot of people at least, is concerned about first year coach, head coordinator Rob Leonard. So who else other than EA, the Hall of Famer himself, sit down, break down the X's and O's, and I really hope you guys are paying attention because the Rays are being very transparent about what they do and how they're going about their business. And so all the speculations and things that we like to do as fans can really be thrown out the window, or is this nothing more than just people talking out about both sides of their mouth, trying to fill up time and space until we actually see real football. So tonight we doing the education like we normally do. Please punch that ticket. You on the BART. Don't be a fair raider, just go and hit the like button so we can get into that AG, that algorithm. So we're gonna get into the interview that Gutierrez did with EA and see exactly what are we to expect of the Raiders defense and to clear up some of the things that people keep saying. It's just a 3-4. I mean, I know people were panicking about that. We didn't get a D tackle. We got a 3-4. The only way a 3-4 works if you have all that is true. But just like Rob Leonard said in his first interview, his sit down with EA, that's just a base defense. But they'll get into that and other things about our defense and what to expect. So go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right.
Joined by the Hall of Famer, special guest Eric Allen. EA, thank you so much for stopping by and chopping it up for a little bit.
Yeah, man. Anytime with you, my man.
So, and again, whenever we talk, it just always blows my mind that your career in the NFL, your rookie season ended in the Fog Bowl. The career ended in the Tuck Rule game. I mean, you've seen a lot of stuff.
Yes, I have.
But when it comes to this year's Raiders team, they're still putting things together this offseason. What kind of things are you seeing out there, whether it was OTAs, mandatory minicamp? What defensively, especially, what are you seeing?
Yeah, it's always difficult, when they don't have pads on. Yeah. So what you like to see is kind of what style they're trying to play, kind of build the foundation, because this is the time when you build the foundation.
Yeah.
When the season starts, the players will be able to go back to this time and kind of think about what the coaches are trying to implement, right? Yeah. What the foundation is going to be. So right off the bat, in practices, you see a lot of press coverage on the outside. So
I like to hear that. And one of the things, and I'm going to stop these videos to respect the Raiders content so we can transform it and it's copywritten, copyright protected, so we can transform the information for educational and entertainment purposes. But one thing I did like what EA said was, being that they're not in pads. This is what I keep telling people. I don't like making these assertions about what we expect without them playing in pads, because the way a spring ball player plays in the spring is different when you line him up and then it's time to hit and go live. Some players that's a drill practice warrior. When it gets down to the live or in the game, then the real cream of the crop rises. But one thing EA said that we need to pay attention to is you can't learn a whole lot other than style. And that's what we want to understand about this Rob Leonard defense. What kind of style are we trying to bring to the table? What kind of style is this first year defensive coordinator bringing to the Raiders? I know one thing that we're talking about, one of the things that we're going to style up is taking away the ball. We're going to be opportunistic and try to go and take away the ball. I think our pillars is to stop the run, avoid the big plays, and take away the ball. Picks and picks, scoops and scores. That's what we need to do. So EA was saying you could see our style, and he's going to break it down and let us know what we should expect.
That tends to tell me that, they're getting ready and getting the guys ready for some one-on-one stuff, which in this league you have to be able to play. But what people don't understand, it's not always the defensive backfield.
Yeah.
Because, if I'm in one coverage, like the tight end needs to be covered too, and the running backs.
Yeah.
So that puts a lot of stress and pressure on those middle defenders to be able to also play man-to-man at some aspect.
Yeah, and we haven't played a lot of man-to-man coverage because we haven't simply had the corners that we were confident enough to do that. I think we're going to run a few schemes where we can rely on our man-to-man coverage and have like a cloud over top of it, or some man under type defense. We're obviously very, very. I will say we are. I don't want to say very, very, but we're excited about Stokes, and we have confidence in him that he'll be able to guard some man. Now we just need to see who we can put on the other side of the island, on the other side. And if we can lock down our corners a lot of the times, then we can get more sacks. But it's like he said, it's not all on the corners, because the D-line got to get in, the linebackers got to get in. You can only guard these good receivers for so long. You can't just lock onto them for 4 or 5 seconds. These wide receivers are good, and plus you got to remember, they know where they're going, and the defender don't. That's why cornerback is probably one of the hardest positions. I played quarterback, cornerback, wide receiver, safety. And corner was difficult, but not as difficult as wide receiver. I mean, as quarterback, though. That's definitely the hardest position on the field of play.
Always great talking the X's and O's with you. If we pull up to about 30,000 feet and look at what's going on defensively, new boss, same as the old boss, so to speak, especially for those defensive linemen. Rob Leonard, first time as a defensive coordinator. And a lot was made this offseason about the Raiders switching to a 3-4 base, but really how often are teams in a base defense? I mean, is that much ado about nothing, or is that kind of getting your ears up and your eyes going in different directions, the fact that's happening?
Yeah, I think, first of all, Rob is going to be able to kind of implement his style of play, which is a physical brand. I love talking with him because I've talked to him many times before, because I think he's done just a great job of getting his defensive linemen to really get used to having alternate moves. Like, you have your go-to, right? Whatever that go-to is, but he was always talking about having the speed, the power off that initial move. So I just really love talking to him, and really happy that he was able to get this opportunity. And Coach Clint saw that he was ready for it. So it's going to be a physical brand of football. I think first down is really where we'll see the foundation of the 34 defense, because you have to have a big tackle, guy to kind of cover that center, that guard up, and be strong enough to be able to stop the run. You need a run stopper when you're in the 34, because that guy is so important in the middle of the football field, keeping those guards in that center from getting to the second level. I think that's important. So that's really the first down, and on running downs, that's really when we're going to see that. But the most of the time, it's going to be in sub packages, and we're going to be basically in a 5-2, for the most part, or sometimes, have that mug look where that will linebacker is going to be in that B or C gap, and it's going to look like one middle linebacker in the middle of the football field with all those DBs around him. So, yes, I think on running downs and first down, which is so critical. And early on last season, we didn't do a very good job of stopping the run. So that's point number one, is stopping the run. And I think with this style of defense and the physical approach, that's the number one priority.
Okay, so there we have it. Pretty much, that's going to be our base defense to start our offense off on first down. We're looking for the run. We're going to have people with gap integrity. And then in the event that they play action, we actually do have guys in coverage in the 3-4. So we only going to probably run at a third at a time. And it's all about the sub packages, like you said. And I was telling people, I've been trying to tell people, like, think about it in packages. What players thrive in what packages? Because if you know what players thrive in what packages, then it's easier for the defensive coordinator to say, hey, we have this 3rd and 5. They might try to go to the sticks, or they might try to go deep. Okay, so do I put in this kind of package, because I know that in the event they try to go deep over our head, we have speed on the field to cover that. And are they good enough to make tackles if they get past the first or second level? I'm talking about being safeties. And so if you know that they're going to run on 3rd and 5, if that's what their tendency is, or throw something real fast and short, then you can stick the box safeties in there. Then you might can put the Palomalu in there and the Jeremy Chins. Or you can put the Jeremy Chins in there with the Stoots. If it's 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, or something like that, you can put Dalton Johnson back there with Stukes. You might can put Dalton in the safety in the free, and then put Stukes in the nickel. See, it's going to be about packages. It's not going to be so much about who's starting where, because it's all about playing chess, not checkers. And I think Coach Robbie he's going to play an aggressive style of defense, because like he said, like EA said, it's going to be aggressive. And he said, if you're going to do something, do it at 100 miles an hour, and let us coach you if you do it wrong. Trust your eyes, trust your instinct, trust what you've been taught, and go for it. Don't hesitate. Don't blink. And if you make a mistake, don't be a second offender. Or a repeat offender is the actual term that they use.
What's interesting about that 3-4 defense is our guy Marcus Allen, the other Hall of Famer from San Diego. He told me that when he was playing, he hated playing against a 3-4. Then that was the most difficult type of defense he faced, because of the type of athlete that you had to have and the personnel you had to have in that 3-4, especially with those linebackers that can not only be thumpers but could also cover.
Right, because they have an opportunity to be one gap and like, hey, I'm going to take this A gap because I know my linebackers are going to take the B gap, and then the Will and the Sam. So all those gaps are going to be filled from a defensive standpoint, and from a great running guy like Marcus, who loves to like zone runs for offenses. So you get that zone stretch, and that running back is looking where that gap is, so he can either cut it back, or hit it right in the middle. But with a 34, most of the times all those gaps are filled. So you gotta bounce it outside.
Nowhere to run.
Exactly. So what you want is that defense to really dictate where that running back is going to run. And if you flush him outside, hopefully your strong safety, your corners, be able to manage the edge and take care of that.
That's what they call the transition, because when you
and I'm going to have to agree with that. Well, because when I was playing, and this is just from experience of like 3-4 defense, it definitely confused me. I wasn't naturally a quarterback. That's something that I learned to play after playing receiver and corner. And as a receiver, I always wanted the ball. Like, I'm like, why can't the quarterback get the ball? So I wanted to be a quarterback that to get the wide receivers the ball because I understand what wide receivers want. And plus, I was a pitcher. I know you don't throw the football like a pitcher, but a pitcher kind of correlates with a quarterback. And so, and also, I was a running quarterback as well too. So I used to tear it up, right? And then eventually, this one team figured it out, and they changed the defense into a 3-4, and it confused me because, like he said, there's somebody in every gap. It's hard for you to set up a cut to go through a hole because you might think that the hole is there, but there's somebody there with the gap integrity. And if you do get to the outside because the defense is shifting, even if you're trying to like buy time for your wide receivers to get open and you have the zone shifting, it's almost like you have to try to fit the ball into a spot and make a great play. Or if you try to run, you're not going to get that far because the corner has the edge to set the edge, or the safety comes set the edge. So it took me a couple of seasons to really to get comfortable playing that. But 3-4 is definitely going to help us put players in position. Yeah, we don't have that nose tackle, but hopefully the guys that we do have come in and they make their mark. And we have some veterans and some young guys. So we got Butler, Booker, we got Ponka, so Lock Tassi, Lucky Tassi. So I think we're gonna be okay there. And if we do need to make an adjustment there, then we'll address that. But I think we're kind of competent in that area in our defensive front.
Talk about the corners and the safeties in the secondary. Your eyes light up a little bit here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So a lot of rookies in the secondary in minicamp. We got Treydan Stukes, Dalton Johnson, Hezekiah Mastis. What are you seeing from those young guys? Again, it's early in the offseason.
Yeah.
What has impressed you about those guys?
The expectation, I think, is to have versatility at the nickel dime spot, right? First, you got to understand and know who's at your corners. I mean, obviously, we know E. Stokes is going to be at one. Figure out who's going to be at the other spot if they want the long, kind of, rangy guy, or someone who's going to be able to be a shadow on somebody. So that's going to be something. But I think right now what this team is trying to accomplish is who is going to be the interior cover guy. And is he going to be the type of player that we saw maybe in the Super Bowl? Witherspoon, who can come down, cover that slot guy, or bring him on a blitz because he's too fast, still have some range about him, still have some force to be able to hold that corner. But I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a versatile player in the middle of the football field who can accompany those free agents we got at the linebacker spot. I think that's very critical in this day and time in football.
So who do you guys think that player could be? Or a set of players? Because I could see Stukes making plays like that. And back to what I was saying, Dalton Johnson can be the one high safety. All about packages, who can play that position, at least sparingly, like a few plays, not all the time, but sparingly. And who do you guys think is going to be the other corner starting on the other end? Put that down in the comments. Who you guys think is going to be that other corner that's opposite of Stokes? A lot of people are saying Jamad McCoy. Hopefully, it is him. If he's a first round talent like that, and he was like arguably the best corner, and we're not, and we're making sure we're preserving him so he can give his all in camp. Because his knee is well now. It's good enough to play. I understand it's in your mind, and that's kind of the psychology you got to get out your mind, that you might hurt yourself. You got to play out there, because in football, if you play like you're going to get hurt, you're going to get hurt. If you don't play at 100% or full speed, you're going to get hurt. If you second guess yourself and out there playing around, you're going to get hurt. So I'm anticipating Jamad to go out there and really play really well. But there's other big cats out there too. Masses. Coach Coop said, "Hey man, we want to see you tackle, man. When the pads come on, you looking good now, but you lighting the tail. Let's see what you can do." So hopefully, maybe he can lock down. I don't know. We do have some players. Maybe we can even have Teron Johnson that could do that. So I don't know. I think we just have options, and we will see in camp. So I like what we've done so far on the back end of our defense, because we definitely was thin there. And all these players I'm naming, we're not naming Chin or Paul Mau, because we kind of know what they bring to the table. They both had 100 tackles last year. We know what they bring to the table. Let's just make sure we put Paul Mau in the right position, so you don't have to play free safety. This is a contract year for him, so I expect him to play well.
What role do you think Treydan Stukes can play?
Yeah.
Is that guy that you're kind of talking about, maybe?
Yeah. I think he could be that joker. I think he can be the guy that replaces the Sam in situations where you're in 11.
I haven't watched this either, y'all, so I didn't know he was going to say that, but I'm looking at us schematically from a player perspective. I know a lot of us are fans and we look at the game from a fan perspective, but I usually try to look at it from a player perspective first before I look at it as a fan. When I look at it as a fan, I don't have to have logic and reason. I just go off how I feel, right? But when it comes to looking at it as a player, you got to kind of filter that in along with common knowledge, common sense, or just what is being told to us. But yeah, I definitely think that Stukes can be that joker. We already know that he can get in there and make tackles and blitz. Just focus on, lowering his pad level, and that's something he's acknowledged. So make sure y'all go back and look at our videos. Go to the playlist, Commitment to New Excellence, where he talks about what his expectations are and how he's a free safety, how much he's played free safety, and how comfortable he is playing free safety and in the nickel. Because he was primarily a nickel, then he became a free safety, and now that kind of helped him get drafted so high in the NFL. So I'm thinking that guy's going to be that guy too. And if EA got confidence in him, I definitely got confidence in him because he's the Hall of Famer. He knows.
Personnel when the offense he could be that joker. I think he can be the guy that replaces the Sam in situations where you're in 11 personnel. When the offense in 11 personnel and they may have a bigger third receiver, he can come in and be a good run stopper. He can be the kind of guy who can cover up the middle. He can move back to safety if you want, and you can bring down a bigger body if you want. I think that's what you're looking for in him. If he can be that joker, if he can be a guy who can be very difficult to keep off the football field.
That's why joker is actually a good thing to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
It
is.
You talk about the safeties too. Jeremy Chin, he's had a really good offseason. You've seen him just kind of flying around all over the field. And in the media day, he talked about how Clint Kubiak wants another leader to emerge in the secondary.
Yeah.
Could he be that guy?
He could. And speaking with him, he talked a lot about that because he has been that versatile player for his whole career, basically. He's always been a guy you can line up at multiple positions on the football field. And now he spoke, just about that, about, hey, I can get into the corner room and talk about, hey, man, I played leverage this way, and this is how it works out for the young guys. He's played the free safety, the strong safety. Last year, he covered so many guys. You don't want to see him in that position a lot, but he did it all. And that's a great opportunity to lead other young guys because you've been in those situations.
See, I like that about EA because he keeping it 1,000 because he can do these things, but we don't want to see him in that position a lot. Because that's just honestly that's why Paul Mau ended up playing free safety. If you think Paul Mau did bad last year, if you'd have put Chin in free safety, boy, you'd have seen more gray hairs on the hair of my chinny chin chin. But we addressed those positions, so I think we should feel a little bit more confident about what we're doing on the back end.
Ask you, how could he elevate himself to that standard? But I guess just by being that leader and going into the room,
experience.
Yeah,
that's what it is. In my career, you come in as a young player and hopefully you have a player who's had that experience, and you can just watch him. And it was, Roynell Young was a player who actually played in the Super Bowl against the Raiders.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite players, Cliff Branch, beat him on a touchdown.
Yeah.
So I get drafted in '88. I get to the Eagles, and that's the first thing I said. Roynell, hey man, what happened? You get a touchdown.
Cliff
I didn't know anything, but Cliff got him.
Cliff got a lot of people.
Yeah, he did. He did. But so, he taught me a lot about the game and experience. And then, when I'm in that position, I was able to pass it forward for several guys. Yeah. And that's kind of what you want to do as a player, because you want to leave the game a little better than you found it in any way you can.
The Cliff play, I can see it right here in my mind. Looking down the field, he does the juke, home center,
gone. It just gone. In the
middle of the end zone.
Ran right through, right past him. Yeah.
The defensive front, though, and again, this goes way back. This is football forever, right? That coverage helps pass rush, pass rush helps coverage.
Yep.
They brought in some new pieces with Kwity Paye, and then they drafted Kieron Crawford. How can they gel together on that as pass rushers? Because Maxx is going to do Maxx things, and especially with his whole friend Rob Leonard orchestrating the whole thing.
That's right.
How can those two guys work together and gel while Maxx is doing his thing on the other side?
Well, it's all about finding your role around Maxx. And I think that's for all the pass rushers, even the interior guys.
You hear that? Finding your role around Maxx. I keep trying to stress. I keep stressing that as a team, there's no way that we're not going to win. There's no way we can win a Super Bowl if everybody doesn't buy in. When I say everybody, not only the players. Remember, I continually say you win championships from the top down, not the player up. If the head office is in alignment with the coaches, and the coaches coach up the players to be all in alignment, they can win a Super Bowl. Now, are they going to need help from the fans? Because sometimes we need that home field advantage. So the fans need to be in alignment. Now, they can do it alone without us. With us being divided, it's just going to be harder and it might take longer. But you, as a player and as even a Raider fan, you should know that the team plays better when they have that energy. Just like we played better when we had the black hole. Like, we had the tailgate. Sure, we might not win all the games, but they were competitive. We will be winning and then give it up, or something. It's always something. We create new ways to lose games, but we're always in the game, and we always at least make it entertaining and excitement because we put the fun in dysfunctional. So I like how if we're in the position where we can get players to buy in along with the fans, let's not be divided, and let's try to get all on the same page. Like, forget it. Maxx is not going to apologize for saying Flock Nation. Do I feel like Maxx should apologize for saying Flock Nation? I do. But because like in the legal field, there's a thing called kissing the ugly baby, or or the broken leg. And the broken leg is something like, it's a fact that you can't ignore. So you kind of don't want to say it, and hopefully that no one else brings it up, and if they do, they bring it up sparingly. Kissing the ugly baby is like, yeah, we know this is a fact, and it's something that we can mitigate. So let me just go on and address it. So then that way we can get it out the way and it don't have the shock value as it is. Now, it depends on how you look at things. Maxx might see it as like a broken leg. It's something he can't say. He can't take it back. Even if he apologized, people still are going to be mad at him about it. So the best thing to do is just move past it and let people let wins dictate how that plays out. Me personally, I just think that sometimes you say things that you don't necessarily mean in certain situations, or you do mean them and they don't. And sometimes you have to eat raven or crow. And in this case, he has to do that. Now, what we expect from you, you have to suck that up too, and then just play at a level where people will just shut up about it. Since that's the road you're deciding to take to ignore it, So you gotta apologize with your play and getting back on the field. So you know, let's all get on one accord, one nation. That's what I'm one nation.
And hopefully, you're talking about how the defensive rush helps the corners. What helps us all is a lead, right? So
The onus is on the
that
offense
helps us
or
all
special teams.
is a lead, right?
Yeah.
So we get a lead, and now those pass rushers are able to work on all those things they've been working all season for, to get in a position where you have the speed rush, and then you bull rush, and then you have that alternate thing, and those things help the defensive backfield because obviously the quarterback doesn't have a lot of time to throw. So that's where we need to get. And I think all of these guys have proven, especially the free agents we brought in, Kwity Paye and the two linebackers. I mean, they've been in some big-time football games, Super Bowls and playoff games, and they have really performed well. And that experience is going to help us when we're in those difficult games against the Chargers and the Broncos, wherever. But we know, like starting with Maxx, we know the energy level, the tempo is going to be 100%. And if those guys can continue to bring that kind of experience and then understand what Maxx is expecting from them, I think that's where we're really headed in the right direction.
It's interesting.
And that's the reason why I'm saying, I mean, of course, I could always be wrong because anything is possible when it comes to, the business side of the game. But I don't think Maxx is going anywhere because now Maxx has already shouldered the whole defensive load, and he just lacked help. So frustration sat in. You're looking at how the franchise moved. You know how they've moved in the past. You've looked at how he did Jacobs. I think Maxx was in the car with Jacob while he was waiting for a call or whatnot. You see how they did Derek Carr, and you want to just play meaningful games. So yeah, he may have came to a meeting of the minds that, hey, let's see about me being traded if y'all don't want to get right. And now it looks like we're getting right. So now that because like he said, while he was waiting to do the physical and whatnot, those few days, he saw the Raiders making moves, Kwity Paye, Kobe Dean. And he probably was sitting there thinking, like, why y'all didn't do that when I was here? Like, what's going on? Like, but the game gods decided to give him back to the Raiders. So now our defense is going to be so much better with him than without him. We're going to win more games with him than without him. So now everybody got to buy in, follow Max's lead. And that's what I mean by we can't have a divided nation because we're not going to go into this season. I'm not going to go into this season and we're going to complain about Rob Leonard being the first-year coach. Complain about Maxx is not making all the money. I mean, making plays for the money he's making, which I did a video earlier today about him being overpriced, overpaid. He made some Bleacher Report list top 10 of overpaid players, which, matter of fact, hold on. I got something for that. I got something for that, for what Brett said. Hold on, Maxx.
That shit was
That's
fucking
weak.
weak.
Exactly. So we just need to get in, buy in on the same page with Maxx, and then now we got him to help. Now we need you to show up and show out, Maxx.
Kwity sat in that chair during OTAs, and I asked him what it was like rushing the quarterback, just how he would describe it. And he's kind of a Renaissance man. He likes to travel. He likes to take pictures. He likes to get dressed up.
Right.
He called it beautiful chaos. Rushing the quarterback. What would you describe running down the field next to in some receiver's hip?
It's like a slow motion dream for me. And that's when I know I'm in sync.
Okay.
It's like I've done it before. Yeah. I've been here before. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And everything, it's silent. And I can hear like the footsteps, but it's like me and this guy, we're glued together.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels when you're like in sync and the rhythm is going and you're processing it fast. And then when the ball's in the air, as I'm turning to watch the ball again, you see the ball and it's slow motion. And then I'm gonna get a pick, right? So boom, as soon as I get a pick, it's 100 miles an hour again. It's like the rabbit running from the wolves, you know.
Facts. That's exactly how it is. Like you can even hear like the grass, you can hear the birds and breathing, because you're just right there locked on and just waiting for them to make any kind of move, and then you look and see the ball coming. I was like Charles Woodson was my player comp. That's the player that I really patterned my game after, because I just felt like, and plus I was naturally a receiver, so the ball coming, it's coming to me. So like you said, you see the rotation of the ball and you can hear everything, and then as soon as you catch it, then everything speeds up, and then you moving too fast sometimes.
But like you're right, in that phase, so the first phase, if you're impressed, the first phase is silence, right? Yeah. And then it's the movement. And if you practiced enough and if you've researched enough, you're still in sync with how he's trying to get off the line of scrimmage. Like, oh yeah, I know you're gonna give me 1-2, and then you're gonna explode right for the slant. You're gonna stop and come back. So I have to go left hand, right hand, eyes. So all those things are in sync. And like I said, it's like a dream.
It's second nature.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool, and that's one thing that I do miss on Sundays. You know, when I walk through the field, you know, before games and stuff. And those are the things that I think about. It's like, man, you know, to kind of be in sync and like, you know what the guy's doing. He doesn't know you know it. Yeah, I know what's going on. So it's pretty cool.
And now everybody knows you wear the gold jacket too. So, and then for a different, and we'll close with this one, on the interior of the defensive line. They got some second year guys like JJ Pegues, Tonka Hemingway, bringing back Adam Butler, Jonah Laulu, Thomas Booker the fourth. Yeah. What are those big guys? Because they don't have that prototypical nose tackle.
He's hard. It's hard to find.
It's hard to find that guy.
Hard to find that guy.
What can those guys do though to alleviate the pressure on the guys on the outside and on the secondary as well?
Great rotation, and those guys have to really work together and know that they're not going to play every single down, but when they're in, find something that you can do that's special to you. So we know we can count on you to do this. If you're going to be the interior guy who's a pass rusher, be the best one on the football team. So in those passing situations, you're there. If you're the guy who's going to hold up that center or that guard so he can't get in the linebackers, be the best guy on that football team. We're going to need all those guys, right, to be able to run the defenses we want to run and run the pressures so the linebackers can run free. We have too many times the last couple of years. I think Spillane did a really good job. I was a real big fan of his. It just last year just didn't seem like those guys were able to play downhill enough, play fast enough. And I'm not sure if it was the fit, but I think this year is a perfect opportunity for these guys to really take advantage of our outside pressures because we're going to get a lot of double teams outside. Those guys are going to be one-on-one. So they're going to have to do their job. So I think that's the biggest thing is find something that you can do better than your teammate and stay on the field in those situations and be the best you can be.
That's specific to them. And
yes.
And that frees up the linebacker.
Oh,
the heat-seeking missiles.
That's right.
Quay Walker and Nakobe Dean.
I mean, man, watching film and breaking those guys down, I know we don't have a lot of time, I was like, those guys are playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage almost all the time, which was awesome. It's what you want.
Yeah. Eric, it's been a dream.
Oh, yeah. There you go, man.
Eric, thanks so much, man, for just
anytime, my man.
All right. If you want to stay
I'm really hoping our defense do play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, because I don't know when the last time we seen that. I don't know when the last time we seen that. Because I liked Spillane too. And every year he got over 100 tackles, and everybody was talking about how they didn't like him. What I didn't like though is like he always used to have to tackle from behind, and that's more of our defense how it was set up. Our defense, the way it's set up now, is that, like he said, we're going to be running downhill. Everybody going to have a responsibility of gap integrity. Take this person, you get blocked by this person, you get blocked by this person. Don't let this person go to the next level. So then, like he said, it's 1-on-1. You and the running back, you and the tight end, or running back run a little flare out or like a check down or whatever, or he runs to the middle of the field, run a little hook to get the check down. 1-on-1. Now, hopefully, our players can avoid, knock on wood, if you're with me, primarily Kobe Dean, but if our linebackers can avoid injury, because we're really, really thin in that position, and we have high stakes in that position because our defense is going to be predicated on our linebacking play. Sure, we can get turnovers, but we don't want to be too aggressive on the secondary, because if you try to get a turnover, this is the NFL. If you miss that, it's either a big play or a touchdown. What are the three pillars I said our defense is going to live off of? Stopping the run, avoiding the big play, taking away the ball. And if you try to take away the ball and don't get it, you're going to give up a big play. So we don't want to stress out our corners and safeties while they're trying to make all these big plays, because you got to remember they're going to be young, so they're going to be highly reactionary. So I'm praying that our linebackers hold up. We definitely paid the money for them. Willie Wayne, my guy, says, I'm not really worried about this upcoming season. Is that in a good way or in a bad way? Like, you already know how well we gonna do, or you just like you don't have much expectations? Justice for 12, my guy, says Max just needed another dog or two on the defensive on defense with him. Like, he's the only. I can't see that. Like, he's the only good player out of 11 on defense. That's not good. We can't win like that. Absolutely not. You definitely can't win like that. Because even last year when Myles Garrett broke the cycle, it's because the attention that other players on that D line that the attention that they account for. Now, granted, I think his name was what, Will Anderson. He didn't live up to his expectations. But see, this is the thing: is like that D line is really a one cohesive piece, and that's what Max needed. That's why Kuntz was supposed to be the person that, hey, if y'all concentrating on Max, then you make them pay with Kuntz. That's why we bringing in mental reps. T. Crawford. We bring him in so he can come off the edge. Like, if y'all want to sit there and slide the line to the right, then that allows T-Ron to come right off that edge and wreak havoc. Beautiful chaos is what we're looking for. First year coach, but I think we'll compete and win some games. Yeah, for sure. We got brand new key everything. We got brand new key head coach, a brand new key defensive coordinator. We got a brand new key quarterback. What? Our defense is brand new key. It's linebackers brand new key. Free safety brand new key. Our corners is going. One of the corners going to be brand new key. So we got a lot of brand new key stuff going on. But hopefully we could like turn that into something, to some synergy. Because we might just be dumb enough not to know better. Sometimes you can walk into a situation and be naive. That's why I said ignorance is bliss. Sometimes we just don't know how how good we are, and we just out there playing with our hair on fire and inspired football and all that. So shout out to Spy Tech, man. Shout out to Spy Tech, the Spy Hunter. And I think he did took a little convo. So let's see what he talking about. He sat down with the three amigos. Well, the two amigos with the one amiga. Let's see what they talking about. I ain't seen this one either.
How y'all doing?
Great, John. Everybody is so excited about this team, and you've sat on this set, a couple months ago, and you talked about it's not just building. As we were looking at the draft, it's not just nailing this draft and building this roster. It's putting the Raiders in a position to also be successful in 27, 28. Now that we are post-draft, you've had a chance to kind of see some of the players that you love. Okay, what do they look like in the Raiders team? What do they look like out on the field? How do you just feel in general about what you're trying to do compared to what you've seen that you've done now?
Yeah, I was pretty outspoken. We had an unbelievable opportunity in front of us with the first overall pick and the amount of cap space that we had available, and so we had to attack it, and we were very mindful of the kind of person we wanted to bring in. I'll keep saying that, but also to your point too, like build it for the future. And so we were very targeted in who we attacked in free agency, younger guys on second contracts, guys that can be a part of what we're trying to build here and then still be here when we reach that goal. In terms of what we've seen so far, I've seen a bunch of guys that have competed and been about the right things and about the process. We've had really great attendance for OTAs this year. So I think we're all really proud of that. Obviously, Clint's done a great job of keeping them engaged and energized at a time of the year where it's not real football. So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. We haven't seen a lineman or anybody block anybody yet. I haven't seen Hayward line up any linebackers in the A gap. So we've got a long way to go with that. But I'm happy with the way they worked, with the way that the new guys have assimilated into what we're trying to build here and added to it. And same thing with the rookies.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when you're not hitting and all that other stuff, but I like that he's keeping that in perspective. And they brought in certain type of guys. And what I did like about what he just said is, hey, not only am I looking when we get to that point, because you can get to that point and then you have to end up paying all these people, all these new people that we brought in. And then that can be a casualty, a cap casualty. That's how we got Linderbaum, because the Ravens couldn't afford keeping him and going to go help their defense either. Like they had to let him go because, and if you think about it, the Raiders only got him for 3 years. So let's say it takes us 2 years or 3 years to turn this thing around. Yeah, sure, we can probably pivot to JPJ. At that point, he'll be what 4 or 5 years into the league, and maybe he'll be then calm down a little bit because he's highly reactionary. But you know, we're looking ahead, and that's what good GMs do. So I like that about Spy Tech.
This is year 2, for you. So how does the players from last year and this year's guys who've been in OTAs, how do they all fit together, and how have they been able to kind of mature a little bit?
From my point of view and watching the guys and watching the coaches interact with them, I think because they're all about the right things, they're humble guys, they're about the team, they're about bringing the best to the Raiders and their best to the Raiders. It's been a great process. But again, we won't know until it gets real in training camp. It's hot and tired and doesn't like each other as much, and the actual hitting and violence comes to the game that really defines the game. So, but
Oh yeah, and he called this not real football. I'm glad he said that, man. Because these people making these, you can't make these real projections. I mean, some things you can obviously tell. Oh, you would think that some people think JPJ ain't starting this year. Like you can obviously tell that he's one of the best linemen that we have, but you don't really know until these new people, especially these rookies. Like I don't care how good y'all think Mendoza is and all that. It don't matter, and he's not gonna even get hit with your quarterback. But speed of the game, the coverages, like you said, when you don't like each other as much, because once it gets to camp, offense and defense is gonna start funking. And I've told people that I've been on the pod with, like that's where the fights go down. in training camp. They don't believe it, but that's where the fights go down. Somebody trying to get a job, grown men paying other grown people bills.
I've been encouraged with the OTA practices, the spirit with which the guys have attacked it, watching our coaches interact with them and teach them, and just the buy-in from everybody's been great so far.
You my type guy, so you ready for the action, the fight.
That's right. I got your scouting reports.
Talk to us a little bit about just the different feel around here. You know, like what is different from this year to last year? Because every time I walk in the building, everybody's telling me you got to come watch a practice.
Yeah, everybody keep wanting to make these comparisons about this year and last year, and every player I've seen that they ask this question to, they hit the little juke move on them on that question. Now, I'm curious to see what Spytek says, and he's in the head office, so let's see if he divert or if he answered this head on. I don't know. Let's see.
Like they invented a new football or something. So I just feel like it's just a different type of energy, the way Coach Kubiak is practicing and all that. How about you? Do you feel the same? Do you feel like a different type of energy? Do you feel the practices are different? What's different?
I don't know that I feel that as much as everybody else. I feel like I'm in my second year, and so I know where I'm supposed to go and where I'm supposed to stand, and what the traffic's going to be like on my way here. Again, we've got a lot of work to do, and I've appreciated the way that the guys have worked this year. I thought they worked really hard last year too, and you know, I love coming to work every day. I think there's the vibe that way too. I mean, Clint's been a fantastic partner to myself and to the entire building so far. We're just working on meetings and integrating our college scouts a little bit more into the understanding the depths of everything that we've got going on and how we're trying to build this and the vision that those guys have. And we did some of that before the draft too, but it was like speed dating then. But I feel like, you know, year two, we've got to come together more. I mean, the great teams and organizations, there's a very much of a team culture, and it takes time to establish that. And that's why continuity and consistency is so important in our space.
Yeah. That boy brought up the mascot and the scout and everything. Ain't got nothing to do with last year. He talking about what's the difference between Pete Carroll and Kubiak? That's what he asked it. Like everybody talk about this difference. I mean, it's obviously a difference. You can tell it's a culture change. Last year, Pete Carroll was trying to establish a culture. Kubiak came in and established a culture from day one by taking off the shields off the helmet, humbling everybody equal. We all have to earn our money in our job, including himself, his coaching staff, holding everybody accountable, being straightforward with what he's saying, being transparent, all the things that changes culture. And he definitely came in and changed the culture. But Spytek, you see how he was kind of fumbling through that answer too and started talking about a little bit of everything. But you know, it's a professional thing to do, so I ain't mad at him. But I told you, I noticed that's what they must have had a meeting about that.
I got to go back to the draft a little bit. Not, you know, you don't want to look back at the draft, but you do want to talk about your philosophy going forward when it comes to talent evaluation. And I think any of the great GMs of all time will tell you that you just pick good football players in the draft, regardless of position, and that's how you build a good football team. But when you look at what you did at number 38 and 67, taking a safety and an edge, those were not arguably the positions of need necessarily, like that many people would think were like the number one. I'm saying it.
Okay.
Well, it just seems like those were the best players that, you know, at the time. That was before you got, you know, rid of Tyree. That was, you know, you had safeties on the roster. People were talking about taking, you know, maybe a defensive tackle or taking a wide receiver. Tell me why those guys, obviously you thought they were the best players available at that position at that time.
Sure. Yeah. We're in the team building aspect for sure. And so you've got to piece it all together. But I've always found that the more really good football players you have, regardless of position, the better your team's going to be, because at some point you're going to need those guys. Everyone's depth in this league gets tested at certain times. You never know when it's going to come. You don't know if it's going to be training camp, week 2, week 17, it comes. I I got a chance to spend some time with the great Ron Wolf when I was in Cleveland, and he would come and because he was tight with Coach Holmgren, so he would come every year, and we got a chance to sit there and ask him questions. And I walked by his picture in the hall every day upstairs too. And he said, he was telling us, just take good football players. Don't force guys up the board. Don't force positions of need, because eventually you're going to need the better football player, and you're going to want the better football player. And if you force a guy, a round or two too early, then they're going to walk in the building and you're going to go, well, we took him too early because we needed him, versus just taking the good football player. And there's certainly a balance, and it's not just talent collection either. We're not just trying to have a bunch of talented guys at one position and then be like, oh, now what do we do at, safety, D-line, et cetera. So there's a lot of nuances to it, but obviously we put a process in place. We trusted our draft board, and we were excited to add the two guys that we added at those two picks. And we just felt like they were the right football player for us at the right time.
I tell you, man, this is a situation here where after the draft, you go back to your staff. What are those meetings like after the draft process is over? And what did you find out about the guys that you chose?
Well, we certainly spend a lot of time unpacking the draft. Those are meetings that we have all the time. What do we do? What do we think we did well? What can we do better? Where can we make slight improvements? Because it's such a competitive league that every little thing matters. And there's still a lot to be found out with the guys that we selected this year, the 10 guys that we selected and the 17, 18 that we signed after the draft. But I was happy with our approach, the way we attacked it. We stayed true to our beliefs. We merged well with Clint and his coaching staff and what they really needed and what they valued. And we have that out in front of us. I mean, there'll be things that we'll find out over the next month, training camp and the season, that we will continue to find ways to be self-critical and to make sure that next year's 2027 process and draft is even better than what we just did.
Well, John, congratulations on a good
Absolutely.
draft, getting Fernando Mendoza, being able to go into your second year, knowing where the cafeteria and the bathroom are. I mean, that's a great step.
You can ask me now. And
I'm going to do it during the break.
So it don't just slow down for us. It slow down for you.
The facility slowed down for him. The game slowed down for you.
When you guys find in your second year, everything slowed down a little bit as a player too?
Man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Second year was the funnest for me.
Same in this job.
Yeah.
But the most expected growth.
You have when you're desperate, we have a receiver that can go in for 2 or 3 plays.
Well, why you got to say that?
He's got one good one. He's got one good one.
I'm trying to thin out a little bit. Why you got to say desperate, man?
Yeah, I'll take that jacket and we'll put you in again.
That's right. Hey, John, thanks so much for stopping by. I know Raider Nation is so excited about the way the roster looks right now. We can't wait to see what they look like in training camp.
Awesome.
Yep. Bring on the pads. That's what I'm ready for, to see how we respond in the pads. Yeah. I just like when I hear confirmation, not to say that I'm smarter than anybody or that I know more than anybody. It just let me know I'm on the right track of things, that when it comes to like Kirk Cousins being a mentor or whatever, and the mentor role for him is more like, let me show you how to prepare like a pro. It's not so much about how to play the game. Sure, I'm gonna give you little tips, and on this, maybe you might want to throw it to the outside because they do this when they do that. Little stuff that he might not know, all the quarterbacks might not know, or Mendoza might not know because lack of experience. But just like he said, year 2, the game slows down. You understand what's going on. There's a big jump between year 1 and year 2. So I don't know why people seem to think that Mendoza going to go in training camp and usurp somebody who's had 14 of them seasons already versus a rookie that ain't never. So what do you think the game has done in 14 years when you didn't threw for 4,000 yards 7 times? So, but I like the fact that year 2, Spytek is getting more comfortable. That's the role that cousin Kirk is supposed to fulfill for Mendoza. So let's just chill. Let's let Mendoza mature into the position. I hear little things that kind of worry me about the nation is because they say stuff like, let Kirk go out there and take all the shots and all the mistakes in the old line and all that. And I think that's pretty messed up. It's a pretty messed up way to think about it. Maybe they don't mean it literally, but that's what they keep saying. Like, we need to get behind this quarterback as much as possible. Because Kirk Cousins coming in here and he run off like, I don't know, in the first 10 games, he run off 6 wins and we like 6-4. Like, we didn't turn the franchise around. But how do we get to 6-4? Because if we mess around and be, I don't know, 2-4 or 3-4 or something, we start tripping, talking about put him in Mendoza. We want to put him in Mendoza. We got to see what he do. We got to kick the tires. Same thing we were saying about AOC. It's going to be year 4, and we still talking about we need to see what AOC do. I already know what he do. You should already see what his skill set is. But it took us that much 17 starts to get to that point. So Mendoza, he don't even know what he expects. So we need to get behind Kirk Cousins 100%. Because if we do, and then he ball out, then that's only going to help us because we understand what the situation is. Like, Kirk Cousins is playing for another contract. You're the bridge quarterback. Man, our expectation isn't like uber high, but we know you can take us through there because you got the ability to play like that because Kirk Cousins can light it up. Last year when he was at Atlanta, through all the kerfuffle, he still ran off like 4 wins at the end of the season. Knocked out Tampa Bay from going to the playoffs. They did lose to Carolina, which they probably should have won that game, but I mean, he played well. And he won more games than the Raiders did last year. So I would definitely want to get behind Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is arguably better than Derek Carr. If you look at their career, they're pretty similar. Derek Carr has 4 seasons where he threw for 4,000 yards. He just haven't won a playoff game. Kirk Cousins have gone to the playoffs, but only won one. So it's a little bit edge there, but arguably Kirk Cousins is better than Derek Carr. And for sure, Kirk Cousins is the best quarterback we had since Derek Carr. I'll go on a limb to say he's the best quarterback we had since Gannon. Um, really. And maybe even, well, we can't say because Gannon took the team to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl. So if we can get anywhere close with that with Kirk Cousins, but I definitely think we can do good with Kirk Cousins. I'm gonna keep stressing this to our fans by the time the season start. Let's stop looking with the critical eye. Don't get to turn into a gossip girl or her eye. I mean, what is it? What is it? Queer eye for the straight guy. Like, soon as he mess up, y'all gonna be like, start flaming. Start talking about how you need to take him out. He too old and all this stuff. Like, we need to protect our investment. Like, putting him out there is not necessarily the best investment to put him out, Mendoza out there, and just think that, okay, well, we put him out there, let's see what happens. Because we put him out there and see what happens, even if our O-line is somewhat decent. That don't mean a great player can't make a great play. So last thing we need to do is get Mendoza injured. I mean, like, look, Joe Burrow was him coming out of college. Like, no doubt, he could start game from day one. And even he got lit up. He got so lit up, he blew up his whole knee package. I think he was the ACL, the MCL, the LCL, and the meniscus. He blew out the whole knee package. Now, Joe Burrow is a dog. He a beast, right? He came back from that. Matter of fact, the year after he came back from that, he really killed the league. But everybody don't respond like that. Mendoza, he might be mentally tough and all that, might try that, but we don't know how he gonna respond like that. He might get spooked like y'all was saying about like Derek Carr. I don't think Derek Carr was scared. Not when he came back and was throwing for 4,000 yards after. But yeah, that could happen. That's what ruins the confidence of young quarterbacks. It's not the fact that they can't play well, it's the fact that they haven't played well on this level, so they don't know where they measure up. Versus college, when they walked onto the field, they already knew where they stood. They already knew where they were at. So that's why I like the approach of Mendoza. He's like, I'm starting from the bottom, starting from the bottom, starting from the bottom. He started from the broom closet all the way up to the penthouse, and he gonna clean the windows there. So I like that. So we should take our time. They already told us that that's what they're gonna do is take their time. So we should adopt the same mentality. We should fall in line as fans. I know we have PTSD, post-traumatic Super Bowl deficiency, and we just want to win. We just want to win. Can you just win any kind of way? Just win? No, there's a way you win. The Raiders got a way that we win. We don't just win like it was an accident like every time. Like, nah, it's a way that we go about winning. It's a culture that we impose on people. We haven't seen it in a long time, so a lot of these fans, the younger generation fans, might not understand that about the Raiders. But one thing that you keep hearing from the Raider fans that's been Raiders about 50 years, you're a Raider. Like if you invested into the team and everything, you're a Raider. One thing that you consistently hear all those OGs say, and myself included, is this feels different. It looks different. As men, we're not supposed to prioritize emotion over logic. So when we say it feels different, that's because it logically feels different. It looks different. It is different. There's no way that you can look at this regime, even without seeing them coach any games, and tell me that they're not more competent than AP and Getsy and all them. There's no way you can't tell me that they were more competent than Chip Kelly, Patrick Graham, and Pete Carroll. There's no way you can't tell me that. Even if we came and won 3 games this year, I mean, look, I would be highly surprised if that happened. I mean, like super duper highly surprised if that was to happen. If we was to win only 3 games or even 4 games, I think 6 is our ceiling. I mean, is our floor. So I really like that EA sat down and talked about the defense. So now I hope in the next couple of weeks we don't try to figure out, whoa, what are we doing? Rob Leonard, what is he going to be doing? Like we already kind of know what we're going to be doing. We just got to see how smart he is. We got to see if he can dial out the right package at the right time. And that's going to take some time to get used to play calling. It's his first time calling plays, but I'm confident in him. And let me know. Y'all quiet tonight in the chat. Let me know. What are y'all? Are you 50% concerned with Rob Leonard? 60%, 40%, 80% concerned? Me personally, I probably would like start off with like 50-50 if I wasn't knowing the first year guy, 50-50. So I would say 50% concerned. But it's something about this hire. I think we all pretty much trust Kubiak judgment. That doesn't mean get everything right, but we trust his judgment that there's competent people in that position. And if it's not going to be, if the person is not competent, then we will get rid of that person. That's what I see how our franchise are. I mean, is being held up right now. So we are doing things different. We've kind of been doing things different. It's not like we haven't tried, because we definitely tried to get players in here. We even got Devontae Adams, and we got new coaches, and we even swung and got Pete Carroll, and we even went with the heart hire of AP after we let go Bisaccia, because a lot of people think he should have been a head coach. So we even kicked the tires on that the second time around. So we even sold our soul out and even got McDummy over here, so he can run the franchise amok and do what he did and do what he did to Derek Carr. But yeah. I don't know. I don't understand how y'all mad at Max about saying Flock Nation, which y'all should be, but y'all ain't mad about how they did Derek Carr. I'm not understanding that. I ain't getting that. That's why I'm like, why do you Raider fans just fanning?
That shit was
That's
fucking
weak.
weak.
See what time is it up there? Oh, it's only 9:30 on the West Coast. Okay. Well, thank y'all for hacking in with your boy. I'll be back tomorrow sometime. See what we talking about. The dog days of summer. We're gonna keep breaking this stuff down so that way when the season come, we're not acting all PTSD. I'm trying to help us through this. I've seen brighter days. I've seen our organization make the right moves. And if you make the right moves, you put yourself in the position to get the desired goal. That's what we're doing, y'all. Let's not be scared right now. Now ain't the time to be scared. Now is not the time to be scared. I mean, like y'all literally went all in with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll said, "Well, my resume, I have 2 win seasons." Like we really, I don't know why y'all thought this, but y'all really thought that meant we was gonna win 10 games last year. Basically, what he was saying is, if y'all let me coach us up, then we can get to that point. We went from, well, we already know that we're not no good and the record don't matter, to I thought we was gonna win 10 wins. Like this fan base is crazy. Like we put the foot in dysfunction, like I said. Like Pops used to say, y'all funny. And those are any other draft, he wouldn't even be a number one. He wouldn't even be in the first round. He needs to start day one over Kirk Cousins. Like we go from here to there in like a matter of like 30 to 45 days. Like that's manic. We call that manic. That's mania. I'm kind of don't make me have to put y'all on medicine. Slow y'all thinking process down. Like I'm trying to give it to I'm trying to present it a little bit at a time. Just like even like my AOC take. People getting mad at me about that. And I'm like, y'all get ready. We're gonna get rid of AOC. And if we do keep AOC, he just go sit there and be scout team quarterback. Don't get mad at me because that's where he at. Y'all mad because I'm telling it to y'all? Because I'm trying to be transparent with y'all? Like, stop these quarterback tweets. Like, there is no competition. There is no quarterback competition, man. They've already kind of showed you the structure of how the quarterback situation is. But y'all buy into when Kirk Kubiak say, don't sleep on Aiden. Man, he just saying that, man. Aiden is good, he's cool, but I'll go to war with any three of these quarterbacks. Like, yeah, but one of them you would want to go more than the other. The one that you went and got, the one that you went and got out of free agency, that's the one you would prefer to go even over the one you picked at number one, because that's why y'all went and got him before you went and got the number one guy y'all knew y'all was eyeballing. While you already had one of those guys, AOC, on the roster already. So if you was high on that guy, you could have just brought in one other guy, not draft a guy and you're a free agent and bringing an undrafted free agent underneath him. And then now AOC all in the press conference talking about, oh, I'm a starter. Like you're supposed to have that mentality, but yeah. So what that was screaming to me is that you're not going to be here that much longer, because even with Kirk Cousins, like wherever he ends up at or wherever he be, then they're going to get a good quarterback. Like I'm like, oh, the writing is in cursive. A lot of y'all can't read cursive. Us OGs, we know how to write in cursive and read in cursive, but the writing on the wall is in cursive. Maybe that's why a lot of y'all don't see it, because the writing on the wall is in cursive. Okay, all right. Well, AOC sticks around. He's gonna be like, if AOC plays this year, and we got these three quarterbacks on the roster, then we in super trouble. Unless he comes in and plays, knock on wood if you with me, if for whatever reason Kirk Cousins can't play, and then we're just sticking to we're gonna let Mendoza sit on the bench as long as possible. Just know about 3 weeks later, Mendoza coming in. So depending on when all this happened, that's gonna let you know if when Mendoza come in. But I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think if something was to happen, knock on wood if you with me, then that's when the Mendoza era start. But let's not push that. Let's not start that. Let's not accelerate that. Like, let's not set up the landmines for that to happen, y'all. Let's get behind Kirk Cousins and hope that he ball out like he normally does. Justice for 12, what's good? You said play calling on defense will not be our issue. It's having dogs out there that can make plays on defense. Well, I would like to think that's what we did. Went out and got the dogs. Well, I call them big cats. Like lions and tigers and ligers and big cats. 'Cause I need them to be fast and quick and deadly. The dogs is on offense in the trenches on the offense. But we I thought that's what we went and did was got the players that can do that. That can make plays like that. We haven't had players on defense that we was like, oh, there go that guy. Remember Eric Barton, that linebacker, number 50. There go that man again, number 50, Eric Barton. That boy used to be all over the place, making plays. That's what we need, players that's doing that. Last year it was White. That's why he had over 100 tackles. I don't know. Well, maybe because he don't necessarily fit the scheme, but he definitely played good last year, especially coming off the couch. He played well. So I'm more concerned with our play calling than necessarily our players, but I'm not even that concerned about our play calls because, like I said, normally y'all be concerned 50-50, but in this situation, I feel like I'm only concerned like 40%, if that high, maybe like 35%. I might be overconfident with him, especially being a first-time play caller. I just think that he's been preparing for this moment and he didn't rush the moment and the moment was thrusted upon him and he seized the moment. And there's something to be said about people that's like that operate like that. So I'm pro Robbie Leonard before everybody want to see the result first and then want to say that's my guy. I'm not doing that. That ain't what I'm doing this year. I see what we're doing. I know. I know. I don't know, but I know. I don't know, but I know. As Kansas say.
I'm a raider from the Bay to LA to Las Vegas. Recipes to Al Davis.